University students look for answers after 3 students are shot dead on campus.
And in sports, Ohio men's basketball gets set for a conference showdown against rival Buffalo. Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Silver Barker.
And I'm Madison Moore. Welcome to Newswatch, your source for news impacting southeastern Ohio. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine is calling on Congress to reassess its classification of hazardous materials.
This as environment and health officials are raising concerns over the drinking water quality in communities downriver from the accident site. In a press conference today, DeWine says chemicals carried on the derailed train in East Palestine were not classified as high hazardous materials, allowing those chemicals to travel through the Columbiana County village. DeWine, when asked if he was able to do anything to stop further hazardous materials from traveling along Ohio's railways, responded by saying he has very limited power.
Yeah, my understanding when we're dealing with the railroad, governor's power is very limited. This is generally a federal government thing that they basically preempt us on the control of the railroads.
Meanwhile, concerns over water safety after the derailment continues to grow after nearly 3,500 dead fish are found near Beaver Creek. Ohio State official Tiffany Kabalak from the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency says currently there is a plume of chemicals making its way down the Ohio River and as of today into Huntington, West Virginia. And as officials continue to test water sources on East Palestine and surrounding communities, Ohio Department of Health Director Dr. Bruce Vanderhoff says residents should drink bottled water out in abundance of caution. Caitlin McCarthy has more.
I'm always a little skeptical, because you just never for sure know everything.
Kathleen Unkefer at this East Palestine floral shop is catching up on orders for a busy Valentine's Day. They needed to evacuate after the train derailed a week ago. Unkefer says they didn't reopen to customers until they knew it was safe. We saw crews going inside to test the air quality. Unkefer is relieved it came back negative.
Went around to the basement, went to the back, went there, went there all over the store and tested it for us.
We could still smell strong chemicals coming from this creek across the street. Scott Wolf, the village's water superintendent, says contractors for Norfolk Southern were adding air to it to clean out the contamination.
I know there's a lot of concern about it, but from my standpoint, we are hitting all of our EPA limits and guidelines, and that's what I base my job off of. It's my job to provide clean water, or it's going to be me that's going to be in trouble.
Wolf tells me the EPA is mainly concerned about the well water outside the village.
Per EPA's request, the following Monday morning, we sampled for volatile or organic compounds, and that's a list of all kinds of compounds. All of those results came back negative or below detection limits.
As for Unkefer, she hopes the village keeps testing the air and water qualities to make sure they're safe in the long run.
You hear everything's okay, but it's hard to know everything, and to that extent, and down the road.
Governor DeWine says the state is ready to take legal action if Norfolk Southern does not follow through with its remediation plan for the area surrounding the derailment.
Look, they're responsible for this. They did it. This is the impact on this community is huge.
The plan includes installing wells to monitor groundwater in East Palestine and sampling soil near the site of the controlled release. In a press release, Norfolk Southern says they have distributed over $1 million to families in the area to reimburse expenses due to the evacuation. They also say they have donated air purifiers to residents.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Newswatch forecaster Cam Kuzno, and as you can see behind me as the sun sets on our beautiful college green, clouds have started to roll in and spoil that absolutely beautiful day we've had so far. It was another wonderful, clear spring day, and we'll find out later whether or not we're going to see a continuation of that over the coming days. Currently in Athens, the temperature is 55 degrees and skies are mostly cloudy as clouds begin to roll in. Our barometer is falling right now as a low pressure system is making its way through our region here in a little bit. Our dew point's at 28, and right now winds are calm and visibility is perfect. Our high temperature today was 62 degrees, and it was cloudy through most of the day. And we're expecting a low temperature of 49 tonight. This is going to be because we're going to see a warm front pass through. We'll find more about whether or not or just how high the temperatures are going to get tomorrow, but there will be a 70% chance of showers associated with that warm front tonight. We're making our way towards a new moon with a waning crescent. Tonight's sunset will be at 6:05 p.m. and sunrise will be at 7:18 a.m. And that's all I have for your first look at the weather. Now over to you, Silver.
Thanks. Downtown Marietta is looking to get a $315,000 revitalization thanks to Marietta Main Street. Executive Director Jen Tinkler presented the outline of the nonprofit group's two-part American Rescue Plan Act funds request before the council committee yesterday. $125,000 will go to downtown building care and maintenance. This will be a multi-year allocation for downtown property owners involved in historic building care and maintenance. $190,000 will go to operational support and long-term investment from the nonprofit. The group is awaiting legislative approval from City Council. The City of Belpre is taking steps towards addressing their feral cat problem. Councilmember Steve Knoll proposed a resolution at Monday's meeting in which the city would give $10,000 to save a kitty program for use in spaying and neutering feral cats. Some council members expressed concern that the resolution as written was too basic and would simply be a grant to the organization in that amount with nothing further outlined. Knoll tabled the first reading of the resolution until additional details can be included.
Valentine's Day is all about showing love to the people you care about the most. But we can't forget a man's best friend during this holiday of love. Newswatch reporter Taylor Mondragon went down to Baker Center to smooch some Athens County pooches.
Typical surprises on Valentine's Day include chocolate, flowers, and heart-shaped balloons. Bobcats of the Shelter Dogs and Alpha Omicron Pi decided adoptable puppies are much more fun.
Today we are having a fundraiser for the Athens County Dog Shelter, and we are calling it Smooch a Pooch.
The Athens County Dog Shelter is a no-kill shelter with the goal of getting their residents to permanent homes.
We have a couple of dogs here, and you can come up and take some photos with the dogs, either a Polaroid or just a regular photo. And then we also have a bake sale going on.
By allowing them to interact with others in fundraisers like these, the dogs learn social skills and possibly get to meet their potential new family.
All of the dogs here today and on the Athens County Dog Shelter website are adoptable. They come spayed and neutered with all their shots.
For $2, participants had a choice of 4 photogenic pups to take a Polaroid picture with.
This is Rocky. He's about 10 months old, and if I could use one word to describe him, it would be lovable.
All of the money raised through the fundraiser will go directly to the shelter. If you couldn't make it to the event, Bobcats of the Shelter Dog says there are still ways you can help.
Go to the Athens County Dog Shelter Facebook page. If you go onto their Amazon, they have it linked on their page, and we have a giant wish list of everything that we want on there.
With Newswatch, I'm Taylor Mondragon in Athens.
For more information on how to donate or adopt, visit the Athens County Dog Shelter Facebook page. After the break, new information on the Michigan State gunman and his past criminal record. Plus, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley announces her run for president. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
What do you have, spies working for you? How did you find this?
There's so much hope, joy, and life in that music.
I put it on. Wow.
Ooh, I like that.
When I first heard that song, I thought, here's somebody speaking what I feel.
I love this.
Okay, mind blown.
All this and more, now streaming on the PBS app.
We are at Adena Mansion and Gardens. This is where Ohio history began.
They're in their writing, talking all night long about what they wanted Ohio to be. What type of state did they want Ohio to be? They wrote the Constitution, came out and saw the sun coming up over the Mount Logan Range. That is the inspiration for the Great Seal of Ohio.
In a Frontline special presentation,
hundreds of civilians have been killed in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv.
a dramatic look inside Russia's attack on Kharkiv, told by the people living through it. The displaced families, civilians caught in the fight, and those risking everything.
Let's go.
To protect them.
You can call it any way you want, but it's a war.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
More details are emerging about the deadly shooting at Michigan State University last night that left 3 students dead, another 5 critically injured. The gunman who died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound had a criminal record.
And police say he wasn't affiliated with the school. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest in this developing story.
Acres dying.
Terrifying moments Monday night at Michigan State University as students ran for their lives or hid in their classrooms. Police in pursuit of a gunman who's opened fire in an academic building before heading to the student union.
Right when that first gunshot went off, I booked it to the far corner of the class. I was sitting right next to the door where he came in.
Guys were telling us to run out the back door as quick as we can and run for our lives.
Police found the bodies of 2 students in Berkey Hall and another at the student union. 5 other students were critically injured. The suspect, identified by police as 43-year-old Anthony Dwayne McCrae, died from a self-inflicted gunshot.
We have absolutely no idea what the motive was at this point.
Rosman says McCrae had no connection to the school, but he did have a criminal record. Court records show McCrae pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor firearm charge in 2019. He gave up his weapon as part of the plea deal and served probation until May 2021. The focus for many is on the victims and their families.
We're devastated at the loss of life, and we want to wrap our warm arms around every family that is touched by this tragedy.
Classes are canceled until Monday as the school brings in resources to help students cope with what happened. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Michigan State students are mourning alongside students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School as today marks the 5th anniversary of the mass shooting at the school. Broward County Public Schools is honoring the 14 students and 3 staff members who lost their lives back in 2018. At Silver Shores Elementary School, students formed a giant heart and the number 17 and the 1017, a moment of silence, was held across all county schools. President Biden marked the Solman occasion in an address at a conference in Washington.
There's a lot more work to do, and I'm committed to getting it done with all of you. Some of you know that, and I'm going to say something that's always controversial, but there is no rationale for assault weapons and magazines that hold 50, 70 bullets.
Student-led protests following the shooting resulted in multiple bipartisan gun regulations. Despite calls for change, the U.S. continues to have dozens of mass shootings every year.
Another politician is joining the fight for the Republican nominee for president in 2024. Nikki Haley, former South Carolina Republican governor, announces she's running for president. She joins former President Donald Trump in the fight to unseat Biden. Haley served as ambassador to the United Nations during the Trump administration. South Carolina Representative Nancy Mace says it's important Republicans have a woman on the ticket.
I believe Republicans need to have a woman on the ticket in one way or another, and I think she could be fantastic.
Haley is expected to speak at a campaign launch event in Charleston tomorrow. Former President Trump must pay $110,000 for defying a subpoena for documents. That's the ruling by a New York appeals court. The December 2021 New York Attorney General's subpoena was part of the state's investigation into the Trump Organization's finances. Last year, a judge ordered Trump to be sanctioned $10,000 per day for failing to comply with the subpoena. Trump appealed that order last year. A 3-judge panel on Tuesday decided the sanction was proper. The Trump Organization could not immediately be reached for comment. how you can reduce your risk for heart disease. That story's still ahead.
And love isn't the only thing in the air tonight. Find out how this low pressure system is going to affect our region for weather tomorrow and beyond during my full forecast after the break. And to stay up to date on the latest from Newswatch, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
In a Frontline special presentation,
Hundreds of civilians have been killed in the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv.
a dramatic look inside Russia's attack on Kharkiv, told by the people living through it, the displaced families, civilians caught in the fight, and those risking everything to protect them.
You can call it any way you want, but it's a war.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
Fight the Power wasn't just music. It was a call to action.
On Fight the Power, how hip-hop changed the world.
It's cool to entertain, but we need to educate.
What they rapped about, what was going on in their neighborhoods, was reality.
We see police brutality, we see uprising, and we see it in the music.
Through the music, youth were emboldened and empowered by knowing they weren't alone.
February 14th on PBS and the PBS app.
Why Chillicothe? Why this area? For some reason, this became a mecca for what was probably a religion, what we call Hopewell culture. We'll never know the reason that this was so important to certain people and why that developed, but it's certainly a beautiful place for it to have happened.
In the ancient Amazon, who lived there?
It had been assumed that the Amazon was pretty much untouched nature.
But now breathtaking finds it was some sort of urban complex. Reveal Ice Age societies, agriculture, and mysterious structures.
It's one of the most important archaeological sites that we have in the Americas.
Ancient builders of the Amazon on Nova.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Newswatch forecaster Cam Kuzno, and if you've been enjoying the spring weather recently, I know I certainly have been too. Unfortunately, despite the clear skies, we're not going to see a return of that, at least through the night tonight. We have a very large low-pressure system churning its way through the Great Plains right now. That's making its way over our way, over towards the east. Currently, that's being driven by this really, really strong center of low, and as those fronts here become occluded, which is the purple front, we're going to see a lot stronger of a system, and that's going to be what's making its way into our area. Across the nation tonight, we'll see the pronounced effects of that low pressure system. We have rain expected tonight for Chicago and all across the central United States. And you can even see the strength of the cold front with a temperature of 46 expected in Dallas, 50 down in San Antonio, and then all the way down to 27 degrees in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I know those folks certainly aren't used to that. Tonight in Athens, we're expecting a low of 49 degrees with a 70% chance of showers as that warm front makes its way into the region. Sunrise tomorrow is expected at 7:18 a.m. And across the nation tomorrow, we're going to see the pronounced temperature gradient here that's going to come along with that system while we are in the warm sector. So we're going to see high temperatures all the way in the 70s across our region, and it's going to be yet another wonderful day for everyone. Our expected high tomorrow is 75 degrees, and it's going to be the last day of beautiful spring weather. As the low temperature of 50 tomorrow night, we're going to see the cold front come and eventually spoil our fun. But interestingly, even though it is February, we have a risk of some severe weather going on across the southern United States. That could potentially see some tornadoes spin up, which is very unusual for this time of year. That's going to be driven by this cold front, which is going to come through the region by tomorrow, and it's going to drop temperatures down for the weekend. No one's particularly excited for that, I know. Eventually, that front will stall out and cause weather to be a little bit murkier. And then we will have the center of the low pressure system come through us by Thursday, and that'll be some more rain we're gonna see in the region. Looking ahead at this weekend, we're gonna see a temperature of 37 degrees on Friday and a low of 21. Those temperatures are gonna drop back below freezing after the cold front. Saturday will be a little bit more of the same, 45 degrees is the high, 28 is the low. And then Sunday, we'll see a warming trend start to kick in again with a high of 54 and a low of 38. 7-day outlook. Tomorrow we're going to see Thursday we'll see a 100% chance of showers. That's the day that severe weather is expected. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday we'll see a warming trend happen a little bit. And then another warm front for Monday with a 50% chance of showers, a high of 57, a low of 38. Then we'll cool off a little bit, but it should still be kind of a rainy day by Tuesday. Another 50% chance of showers, a high of 51 and a low of 29. And that was it for our in-depth look at the weather. Now back over to the desk for some news about American Heart Month.
Thanks, Cam. Heart disease is the leading cause of death for both men and women in the United States. Newswatch reporter Lexi Lepoff is in studio with us today to tell us why this month is especially important in raising awareness.
Thank you, Madison. February is American Heart Month, and this Valentine's Day, health experts are encouraging people to spread the love to our health and well-being. I spoke with these experts to see what we can do to keep our hearts healthy.
Jen Bennett and the team at WellWorks say improving your heart health can be quite simple.
Move your body, fuel your body, rest your body.
30 minutes of exercise, nutritious eating, a minimum of 7 hours of sleep, all small changes to reduce risk. Ohio health cardiologist Dr. Vipin Koshal agrees.
Those kind of lifestyle interventions have as much benefit as, for example, putting a stent inside the heart or doing a bypass surgery.
Heart disease is the #1 killer in the U.S., and American Heart Month gives people a reason to think about their heart health. No matter the fitness level, Bennett says there is no judgment in starting today.
We know people aren't coming here to be the best treadmill runners or kettlebell swingers or elliptical goers. They're here to support the lifestyle that they have outside of these walls. So we just provide them a safe and supportive environment that they can do that.
Bennett and Koshal agree changes will not only help heart health, but overall well-being.
Koshal urges people to familiarize themselves with warning signs and heightened risk factors to prevent future heart complications.
On Secrets of the Dead.
Hannibal was the greatest military figure in our history.
His trek through the Alps is legendary.
The thought of Hannibal bringing 37 elephants over the Alps is ridiculous.
But how did he do it?
We went after the chemistry, the mineralogy.
Scientists uncover the mystery of...
That's the way that Hannibal would have come in.
Hannibal in the Alps on Secrets of the Dead.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
Here's what's new this month with Passport.
Kirsten had a lot of courage. She fought for Black culture.
They could have killed you. You're exactly what we need right now.
Oh my God.
What is this?
She was poisoned.
These and all your favorite shows are available with Passport. Support your PBS station and stream more with Passport on the PBS app.
They are intelligent, resourceful, and remarkably resilient. No matter where they live and what unique challenges they face. Whether they work as a team or go it alone, they will come out on top. These are Dogs in the Wild.
Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
We are at Adena Mansion and Gardens. This is where Ohio history began. They're in their writing talking all night long about what they wanted Ohio to be. What type of state did they want Ohio to be? They wrote the Constitution, came out and saw the sun coming up over the Mount Logan Range. That is the inspiration for the Great Seal of Ohio.
Happy Valentine's Day. I'm Reese Thompson. It's payday for Analia Paoli as she picks up the Mid-American Conference Player of the Week award. The junior baseman opened the 2023 season on fire, finishing the weekend with 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, a double, drew 2 walks, and went 4 for 9 at the dish. She popped off in the Gardner-Webb Runnin' Bulldog Classic against George Mason with 2 home runs that propelled the Bobcats to a 6-5 walk-off win. The Pennsylvania native also posted with 10 assists and 3 putouts in the field. Paoli is the only returning All-MAC player for Ohio from last season, where she was a member of the first team. Ohio men's basketball looks to grab the Buffalo Bulls by their horns tonight in tonight's matchup and give revenge for their conference opening loss earlier in the season. The last encounter in early January, the Bulls just pulled away with a 75-72 win over the Bobcats. The difference between the previous game and tonight's is the Bobcats are playing at home as they stand 11-1 in the Convocation Center this season. Compared to last year, Ohio also dominated 15-2 on their own hardwood. Ohio enters tonight's coming off a win against Akron last Friday. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Taking a look at the standings, the Bobcats could hit the bullseye tonight as they look to extend their 3-game win streak to 4. By securing the bag over Akron last week, it was Ohio's first time beating Akron, Toledo, or Kent State in the last 8 games against those teams. Right now, Buffalo and Ohio both 6-6 in conference play. If Ohio wins tonight and Northern Illinois loses, the Bobcats will jump up to the 5th seed in the MAC. Northern Illinois takes on 3-seed Ball State tonight, so keep an eye on that matchup. The Ohio women's basketball team looks to build off its last victory as they soar to the Ball State Cardinals' nest tomorrow. The Bobcats are coming off a thrilling 72-71 triumph against Northern Illinois, where sophomore guard Yaya Felder scored the game-winning basket. Still at the bottom of the standings 3-9, the Cardinals are tied with Bowling Green for the top spot in the MAC, both 11-1 in conference play. If Ohio wins and Northern Illinois loses tomorrow against Bowling Green, the path to the 8th seed for the Bobcats is still very much alive. The infield is being ranked, which means America's favorite pastime is back. The Ohio baseball team opens its 2023 season this Friday in Wilmington, North Carolina. The Bobcats will take part in the Hugh Brothers Challenge, a 4-game showcase to begin the season. These games take place throughout the weekend with their first ball game against UNC Wilmington. While the team has a fresh start, this also means some fresh faces, specifically in the Bobcats pitching rotation. Head coach Craig Moore talks about their development as one of his top priorities.
But the one thing is that they've got some talent, you know. They just don't have experience at this level, you know. So, you know, we're going to get them in there. We're going to get a lot of them in there the first couple weekends, you know, before we start conference play to kind of, you know, see what they can do in those tough situations.
You know, with this spring weather we've been having already, it already feels like baseball season has been here. How about you guys?
Absolutely, absolutely. Today felt amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, but hopefully we don't get that second winter. I know sometimes that comes in and sneaks up out of there.
Yeah, I'm already ready for spring.
Yeah, thanks, Reese. And now we pass it over to Cam with a look at final weather.
Thank you, Silver. And tonight in Athens, we're expecting a low of 49 degrees en route to yet another beautiful spring day. So that second winter is going to have to hold off just a little bit, although we will see some showers tonight as the warm front moves in. That warm front is going to accompany this low pressure system that's churning over Nebraska right here, centered right there over the eastern part of the state. And that's going to continue to propagate its way eastward and eventually looking closer to the Athens region. We will see some showers through tonight. And that's it for your final look at the weather. I know I am not excited for rain to start.
Thanks, Cam. And finally tonight, utterly adorable. That's how a New Hampshire aquarium describes Valentine's Day cards its otters painted. Living Shores Aquarium says the autograms will go to hospital patients and also 10 lucky sweepstakes winners. The animal artists are 5 Asian small clawed otters. They're named Harry, Teddy, Peanut Jelly, and Sacco. Animals save red and pink paint on their paws was used in the creations. The aquarium says it might make the autograms a Valentine's Day tradition. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching.
For all of us here at New
Support comes from Snyder Strode Jarrett Financial in Athens, providing investment and retirement planning assistance to Southeast Ohio for over 50 years. Snyder Strode Jarrett, not just another financial firm. More information at ssj.finance.